War, a crucible where minds clash just as much as armies do. The art of war is not merely about firepower, but about strategy, timing, and deception. No one understood this better than Napoleon Bonaparte, a man whose war mindset reshaped Europe. Napoleon didn't just fight battles, he designed them. He turned war into an intricate game where speed, unpredictability, and psychological warfare mattered just as much as cannons and cavalry. He mastered the element of surprise, striking before his enemies could even react. He understood that victory begins long before the first shot is fired, on maps, in minds, and in the careful manipulation of perception. But here's the real question. What can Napoleon's tactics tell us about war and conflict today? Let's go back to 1796. Napoleon, a 26-year-old general, takes command of the French army of Italy. It's outnumbered, underfed, and demoralized. Yet within a year, he turns it into an unstoppable force. How? Speed, unpredictability, and psychological warfare. His enemies played by the old rules. Napoleon rewrote them. He didn't just march his army, he moved them like a storm, striking where the enemy least expected, splitting their forces and forcing them into battles they weren't prepared for. He understood that war isn't just about winning fights, it's about making the enemy believe they've already lost before the battle even begins. Fast forward to today. Military strategy is no longer about cavalry charges, but cyber warfare, drones, and misinformation. Yet the fundamental principles remain the same: adapt or be defeated. If war is not just about weapons, but about outthinking your opponent, could it be that competition in business, politics, even daily life could be considered as a type of warfare? Napoleon's genius wasn't just in battle, it was in knowing the mind of his enemy. He understood fear, ambition, and overconfidence. He made his foes react rather than act. In today's world, military leaders and even corporate strategists apply the same psychological tactics, anticipating, outmaneuvering, and breaking the will of their opponents before the battle even begins. But here's where things get interesting. Napoleon's wars were fought with muskets and cannons, where battles took days or even weeks. Today, conflicts can be won in minutes. AI-driven warfare, drone swarms, and algorithmic strategy. Does this mean the Napoleons of our age are not generals, but programmers? There's a pattern to history. Great leaders often meet their downfall not through external forces alone, but because of their own flaws. The very qualities that make them rise: relentless ambition, unshakable confidence, and the ability to command absolute loyalty can also be their undoing. Napoleon's campaign against Russia remains one of history's most famous blunders. What began as a display of dominance turned into a slow, agonizing collapse. Overextended, unprepared for the brutal winter, and an army that was slowly disintegrating, not from battle, but from starvation, disease, and exhaustion. It wasn't an enemy's sword that broke him, it was logistics. The vast, unforgiving Russian landscape swallowed his once mighty army, proving that even the greatest military mind could be undone by forces beyond his control. Even today, wars aren't just won by firepower, but by supply lines, resource management, and endurance. The past still whispers lessons, but are we listening? Napoleon's fast, ruthless, and psychological war mindset was ahead of its time. But what can we learn from it? His tactics weren't just about brute force, they were about thinking faster, striking smarter, and controlling the battlefield before the first move was even made. Every era has its own kind of war: informational war, economical war, digital war. The weapons may change, but the principles remain the same. In every battlefield, the same questions linger: who adapts, who outmaneuvers, and ultimately, who wins? History has shown that victory doesn't always belong to the strongest, but to the most adaptable. And as Napoleon's own rise and fall remind us, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it.